Welcome to the I Feel Like That podcast. My name is Marco. I am your host, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about. Oh, God, I don't even know. What should we be talking about? Probably just control. I feel like that's still like my major issue. Something I struggle with a lot. I don't know. I've come to a lot of realizations. Maybe not realizations, but I've just started to kind of think about them. Like some of the people in my life have told me that I might have some parental issues. And I watched this one video talking about how there's different levels of, well, there's no real way to put it other than the fact that there's just different ways things can affect you in positive and negative ways. Like, for most people, I would think, and, I could be wrong about this, I could be right. I think for most people, I think it's very easy to, one, just assume that having good parents doesn't have consequences, right? And it sounds weird because it's like, if you've been raised with people who are probably, let's be frank, not suited to be parents or, didn't really put in the effort or, I would say just effort into trying to be a good parents over time and accepting your faults and being a better person. I think it's very easy to be like, well, I just want good parents and there's no problems that come from that, which there isn't, and I remember watching this video and being like, damn, that's crazy. I wish I could remember what the video's title was called, but it was talking about like how the problems of having good parents can show itself in ways that you never really figured. Like, for me, I think that I have mother issues because, a lot of my other brothers have either been, problem childs or they just caused a lot of problems or issues. And, I never did. And it's kind of weird, but as a child, I think maybe I don't know, thought of it in a weird way and just kind of, it's like I always was a good kid. I try to be a good kid, try to do the right thing, try to, be this or that. Get good grades, be a part of sports activities and things of that nature. But I think that I lost my train of thought. But basically what I'm trying to say is like I came with the realization that I have real problems with, my mom just not, giving me attention, because I had brothers who were problems and so they got a lot of attention. It's kind of this weird thing that happens when, you have, for lack of a better term, it felt like I was never rewarded for being a good kid. Like it was almost like a burden. Like I had to try to get parents' attention. You know what I mean? Like I think that as a child, I had a lot of inward problems, and in my family, there's a lot of people with just outward problems, and they kind of consume everyone else's attention. If you're, say, a kid in my family who doesn't have a father or is an absent father, you're being taken care of by the women. And, or in my case, like say that your brother is a troublemaker or he gets in trouble all the time or, talks back or is just like basically, a rebellious person, or say one is like a brother is like, what's it called? He's, a little whiny, he talks back, he's just rude and everything like that. You have another one who's like maybe, he's my stepbrother and he had a lot of issues, with my mom being a parent to him and things like that. So, there's always somebody in my family who just didn't have, for lack of a better term, they had problems and they needed my mom. And for me, it's like, it always felt like, oh, you're the good kid. Like, he's fine. He can be by himself. He's good. He doesn't need anything, I mean, obviously, like, everybody has their bad years, months, days, weeks, minutes, seconds, whatever. So, like, it's not like I was perfect. But in retrospect, I was much, much easier to handle than my other siblings. And, again, it's not anything bad about being a good kid. It's not anything bad about them being good parents and just giving me things that I need and me being content with most of it. It's just like, you lose a lot of that attention, especially being a middle child too. It's like, by the time I grew up, I wasn't really the baby on my mom's side after a few years. I was, the middle child, the second oldest, it's like, oh, he's fine. And that has its own consequences. It's caused a lot of issues for me in my relationships, and like, me being accepting of toxic behavior and things like that, or me being toxic in myself, or, as a lack of a better term. I know that term, God, it just feels like it's overused sometimes. Like, oh man, it's just like, think of it this way. Like, how am I supposed to be like, oh yeah, this is fine? Like, I don't know. Like, as a kid, it's hard to just like not feel as if you're being punished, and maybe I just internalized that. Maybe I didn't actually think that, but it just felt like that. I had to lie, or I had to be, something had to be wrong with me to get attention. And I think that's where a lot of my sense of I want to control things comes from. I think that's where, I want to have people like me and think I'm interesting, because I don't think that I guess for lack of a better term, that I was interesting enough, or I didn't want to be in trouble, because I didn't think that was very fun, but I wanted people to pay attention to me, and I just didn't know how to do that, and I was never really given it. I was just kind of like, you were the good kid, he goes to his room and he's fine. And, and again, because my dad is so involved in my life, and I love him. He's a lovely man. And my mom is the same way. They make their mistakes and everything, but like at the end of the day, they were good to me. And I don't want to make it seem as if I'm complaining or that I'm whatever it is. It's just, I don't know. I guess it's the same thing as you seek attention. The things that happen to you as a child really do affect you a lot. They form you, they mold you, and it only takes, it takes years of practicing and trying to be cognitively dissident from your thoughts and your memories to really look back and be like, oh, shit. Because it's like, I talk to people like, oh, you had good parents. And it's like, yeah, but it doesn't mean that I didn't have problems, that I didn't garner some type of trauma or some type of bad habits or wants or things of that nature. I don't know. It's difficult to kind of fathom it at times. And I thought it was something interesting that I found out recently, and I felt like I wanted to share that. I think that's why I enjoyed Stoicism so much, because it's like, it almost feels as if like it was made for me. Like, the things that I need, that I suffer with, that I, and maybe, it could be for the masses and everything like that. I'm not saying that, but that sense of like, it felt like it was tailor-made for me, controlling my emotions, anger, fear, pain, things of that nature, like that feeling of like productiveness and that feeling of finally starting to like not feel the way that I did. I found that the answers that I was looking for, and it was almost like the tension that I was seeking. I found it, Maybe I'm overreacting to it. Maybe I'm just trying to find something to talk about, but I don't know. I think if you're listening to this, that you should definitely give Stoicism a chance. Even if you don't follow for anything, maybe if you gain like, just a year, like, because I know a lot of people who journal and then they stop, but like the journaling still helped them. It's not like it was, a lost reason, like you may not get something out of a book or anything like that, like currently, but it doesn't mean that you won't get something out of it eventually. And same thing with like the Stoicism. It's like, it could help you momentarily, and maybe you don't really follow it afterwards, but you came out of it a better person, and it helped you through a dark time. I think that those things are valuable. Sometimes we just need things for a moment, but I think this is one of those things that I'll keep going back to, because like I repeat things in my head sometimes now from it, like, like it's not things that upset me. It's, this isn't, you aren't what you say you represent yourself to be. Just trying to cognitively like disassociate myself from a feeling that I have, and understand that that feeling isn't necessarily me, that I should feel it, but like, put it in perspective. I think that's like the biggest issue I've had with it. It's just like, I think it's just a big issue I have in my general life, is like not feeling what I need to feel and then moving on. I think I tried not to feel it, and sometimes I try to disassociate from it, but it's just because I'm not doing that. More so I'm like doing the same thing I always do, but just labeling it differently. Like I'm bearing it, or I'm not trying to feel it. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just not feeling it for as long as I need to feel it, I don't have COVID, I swear. I've had it 3 times. And I survived every single time. I have God tier immunity. I am going to turn it to Kratos soon. After my 4th trial with COVID. Oh, man. I think I'm also rebellious. And so, but I'm not, stupid. I hate when I think of myself as intelligent. I do not know why. I think it's because I don't think I'm actually that intelligent, but I think that in some regards I'm intelligent. In some areas I am. Not many. God, I still have a way to go, but I think that's one of them. I'm rebellious, but I'm not stupid about it. You know what I mean? I don't just do stuff. I'm impulsive, but I'm rebellious in more of a, what's the word? I'm rebellious in a way that's I actually want to get things done. I want to experience things in life. I don't want to feel like I'm in a box or something like that. I think that my rebelliousness is more of doing things that people tell me not to do, and then researching it and be it's stupid, so I'm gonna do it. like psychedelics or drugs. I think a lot of times people are, obviously addiction's a real thing. It's easy once you start to feel like you're not suffering anymore to kind of continue to do the thing that leads you to not suffer anymore, even if it's a naturally bad habit. I think that, or, a habit that you wouldn't necessarily want, I think that's the reason why, I try to do psychedelics or things like that, because people tell you not to do things, and it's this isn't eating Tide Pods. This is an actual drug or mushroom. People have been using this stuff for, millennia. I don't know how bad it can actually be, eating red meat, I think, is shown to cause kind or has a correlation or something like that. But people have been doing that for fucking literally forever. So I don't know, maybe maybe life has a cue or clue and maybe we don't. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think that's where a lot of my problems come from. Is just me trying to be rebellious, but then not actually being that, leading to me to be a Boy Scout, and I hated my life. I think I have to be creative. I think I have to express myself. I feel like I have to express myself. I feel like that's the most important thing, is to do something. I read this thing where it's something's don't be mediocre, and I always say I hate mediocre people that live mediocre lives, and I feel like I'm fucking one of them. Oh man, I feel like I'm fucking one of them, and it fucking sucks because I don't want to be, and I'm not. That's why I started doing this podcast. That's why I started trying to just do something and do it every other day or every day, form a habit of it, be creative, try new things, but the most important thing is just show up. You just got to show up. You got to show up. You can't miss it. You can't miss 2 days in a row. You have to show up. You have to show up, because if you don't show up, good luck trying to be good at anything. I think that at football, it's I may not have been the best, but I figured out, I'm decently athletic, and I use my skills and technique and all this other stuff. And I think that kind of stuff has really helped me to know that I can push myself. And you can push yourself in a lot of different ways. And if you can push yourself physically or mentally, I think you can push yourself both ways. I think that they go hand in hand, the body and the mind. I think that and I concentrate on that. I'm trying to think of that kind of stuff. I'm trying to feel like that kind of stuff. Because that's something I can control. I can control if I show up. I can control if I do something. I can control if I act a certain way in the face of certain things. I can control that. I cannot control my life, projection, my health. I can't control my money income. I can't control if the world's going to end tomorrow, you know. I might have preferred outcomes, but they're just not, those things are going to happen. And I think it's important. It's very important to control those things, because that's what leads to less anxiety, less depression. And that's what's coming from first-hand account. You know, control the chaos around you. Don't become the chaos. Always have a little bit of it inside of you to keep you creative and moving and all this other stuff. But you have to be disciplined. You have to be consistent with something to be great at it, you know? But that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for this episode. I appreciate you for listening. And, yeah, you guys have, fate willing, an amazing day, an amazing week, and an amazing life. I'll see you in the next episode.